Welcome to Thom Talk. Today, I'm sitting with Joe and with Lynn. Lynn, you're from Scully Scooters, is that correct?
That's correct.
Fantastic. And Joe, you're from TalentTen.
TalentTen.
Okay. So, just to you guys understand a little bit in the sense of Scully Scooters is the concept that, Lynn, you started. Am I correct? Tell me a little bit where the idea came from.
It actually came from a little bit of economic turmoil that I experienced a few years ago, and in one of my businesses I had to retrench quite a few people, and driving around in an X5 at the time I didn't really feel that was a comfortable place to be, so sold the X5 and bought a scooter for the retrenchment. And then after riding around on the scooter for some time, I realized that I'd done about 200 kilometers on 50 rand. And having traveled quite a lot, realized that the rest of the economies that are developing out there are all on scooters, but South Africa isn't. And then I just did some market research, and I interviewed a whole lot of people, from croupiers, casino workers, restaurants, anyone that has to get to home late, and relying on transport, and asked them why they weren't doing this. And the answers were quite interesting, but I thought there's a business case.
So the concept is that you are providing a means of deliveries and stuff with your scooters. Is it?
It's not how the concept started. It's what's ended up. We're doing a large part of the business is doing that right now. But the way the business actually started was that we try to address 3 social challenges. And the first one was transfer of skill. Because there were jobs around, but people didn't have skills. So getting some transfer of skill done, making sure you could get a job from it, and then making sure that the transport was affordable. So those 3 things is what we started with. And so we started training people how to ride these scooters in order to get work on wheels. So it was either a business on a bike or a job on a bike. And so fast food industries ended up coming to us, and the delivery side was just a no-brainer from there.
And businesses have just embraced this concept of yours.
Absolutely, and more and more.
So you're a value add to that business, in other words. Correct. So whatever they do, you come in, you take the hassle away, and you just basically fulfill a requirement that they definitely need in their business. And
when we started, that was like the Anyway business that came to us. Our real passion was to get into the sort of enterprise development and skills development space, working with corporates and the BEE fund, and then saying, let's turn this into a business on wheels. So we'd get like mechanics through a qualification, and then they would be mechanics on wheels. And the same with shoe shines and beauticians and social workers.
So you just found a niche. Fantastic.
It was about creating mobility for people, and Lynn coined what I think is a very nice phrase, is get South Africa moving. Because once you're mobile, the possibilities are endless, and commercial sort of value that you can add, like mechanic on the move, or hairdresser on the move, or whatever it is. But if you're mobile, you can get your customer.
I think that is so on point, and I think you're well done for finding that niche. I think that is incredible, and I think there's so many businesses out there that can benefit from your organisation. So I think that's tremendous.
Thank you.
Before we get into your relationship as to how you guys got together, Joe, tell me a little bit about what does TalentTen mainly do?
To sort of use a broad definition, and that's something that people understand, we're an investment holding company. So we look for investment opportunities. We're not a private equity fund, which people often think we are. There you would go and raise a fund from a whole lot of investors and then deploy it, and you charge management fees. We're an on-balance sheet investment holding house. So we use our own capital to go and invest and help grow businesses that we believe show growth opportunities. And we like to invest in businesses that sort of uplift the country as well. That there's some societal impact in what we do.
Fantastic. So now you guys got together. You obviously saw some value in this particular business. It had a very niche, getting South Africa moving, and it's got huge potential going forward. What triggered you? From your business? What triggered you as to the value that Scully Scooters brought to the table?
It's an interesting question, and I'm probably going to give you an answer that most people wouldn't think is the answer. It's about people. You can do all sorts of financial analysis, and businesses can look great from that aspect. But at the end of the day, it's people that drive businesses. And people do business with other people in businesses. And we've, in 3.5 years, we've made 7 investments.
Okay.
We've sold out of some, but currently sitting on 7 investments.
Yeah.
And in the end of the day, it's all about the people.
Okay.
Because they're going to drive it. It's their energy, their passion, their expertise, etc. that are going to drive the business.
All right.
So we saw.
So obviously, Lynn, your personality came forward, and then the balance sheet followed afterwards.
Exactly. So it's a combination.
They pulled their hair out a little bit.
Who's this person? What's the vision?
Where's the value?
Where's the value? So there's a financial transaction to be done. So yes, we do need to look at that. And where does this person see the business going? And have they got the vision? And then the sort of getting your sort of nails dirty and
absolutely.
To drive the business there.
Right. So Lynn, you haven't looked back since this step. Right? It's been a good step.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And it was also really nice to join up with somebody that wasn't in industry in a way. Because I wasn't looking for a lifestyle motorcycle company. Because it's not about that.
Absolutely.
And when I walked in the front door and I saw an investment today changes the country tomorrow,
absolutely.
I felt like this is
there we
right
go.
place.
This is home.
Yeah.
Okay, tremendous. Well, I think that's a great value proposition that you put out there, Joe. So now with Scully Scooters, in the sense of its brand and its growth of its brand, what are you doing in the sense of is there any social media marketing around this? What are you doing with the view to bring home the story? Because it's a very onerous story that you've taken upon yourself, and what you've rolled out as a value proposition to many businesses. But it's a good story why you've invested. What are you doing in that marketing space, that getting this brand further known, or is that not really a requirement?
It's certainly a requirement. It's something that I've neglected quite sadly, except for our Cape Town branch, which is doing pretty well at it. But obviously when you start a business, you wear all the caps from finance to HR to marketing, and so capacity was always a problem. And only now we're starting to unravel some of the stuff to say who's got the roles where, and it's going to be a big focus area, because we've got some fantastic case studies. Some fantastic.
I think Lynn's also being a little bit modest. I mean, she probably on her way to becoming a media celebrity in some spaces. And she's featured on one of the local radio stations in their entrepreneurship program that they have. She's featured there. She's won a couple of awards. So, that's helped in getting the message out there.
Fantastic.
Especially our collaborations quite young. So there are certain things we had to put in place. So the next phase is getting it a little bit above the line and better known. Up until now, it's been very much business to business relationships, and it's working. But there is the next leg of this business, which we're very excited about, is to be going to the consumer market with the solution that we're
and I think that's fantastic. It is huge. Now, the fact that you mentioned the consumer market, I think, is where maybe I can add a little bit of value here to you. It's a case of you've got these good stories, and social media is all about putting a good story together. And it's a case of when you're putting a good, heartfelt story, which is exactly what you guys have put together here, that's when the consumer in the market will start to share it. So that when you go to consumer, you're already a known entity. So take these B2B stories that you've got, case study them, put them into a storyline, and get them posted, get them shared, get them out there, because that's the type of thing that when you get to the consumer side of things, they're really going to have a good understanding of where you are, and you're going to have the ethos of what your business has been about, that they will naturally come on and support, which I think is what you found in the corporate space.
And the sort of business to business corporate space that we're operating in at the moment is sort of your good beta testing ground. Because when you roll out to the consumer, it must be faultless.
That's right.
Within the corporate market, you are going to have one or two issues that you hadn't foreseen in your planning, but then you can go and sit with them and say, okay, this is how we're correcting it and that. So once the business is running 100% in an efficient way, then we're going to step out into the broader consumer market. Because it is going to be different.
But it's those good stories that will carry through, that will enhance what the brand value is all about.
Absolutely.
And I think that's key. So in closing, Lynn, I'm going to ask you, what would you say is the highlight of Scully Scooters at this point in time? What would you say was the highlight of a day or the period of this journey with this whole business growth?
I think it happens regularly, but it's the kind of story where you have a young man in Cape Town that's in an NGO, has no hope of work anywhere, has got a slight squint.
Yes.
We get him trained, we get him licensed, we put him on a bike, and in 3 months he's earning 8,000 Rand a month.
Wow.
And we have lots of those kind of things that are happening. So it really is taking someone, I call it pavement entrepreneurship. We're taking them off the pavement and we're putting them into something that's earning them money, and we're putting them in the economy. They're paying taxes, things are working better for them, working better for us.
And they're feeling even better about themselves as well.
Absolutely. And they support a lot of people off that.
Fantastic.
So it's working very nice.
Well, guys, I think we're going to bring it to the end there. But thank you very much for your time. And I'm going to put all the details of Joe and Lynn on our site. So please have a look and follow through and make contact with them. But until next time, don't forget to jam.